What are we, day 3, day 4 of Recovery Club? So, hey, well done. We made it this far. Let's get started. Let's start off with those downward dog shoulder ones. Today, I was just thinking about this before we got started. I'm kind of feeling like I just want to do these on my knees today. And I thought that raised an interesting talking point of, like, this isn't a straight line. Like, this isn't a linear process. I wish it was, but you're going to have days where you feel more stiff, you feel more tense, you feel less capable, less recovered. And I think there's some real value in like leaning into that and not trying to force it, not trying to push it. You don't always, you're not always going to come in feeling great. And so there will be days when you can't do what you could do the day before. And that's okay. So, this idea of listening to your body can be a bit woo-woo, a bit yoga-y. But I personally don't think it is that. There's actually a phrase for it in like sports science. You can call it auto-regulation, which I feel like makes it sound much fancier. And so, we're just auto-regulating. We're thinking about like, what does our body need today? And today, I just didn't fancy going up on my toes and doing them that way. Play around with that idea. I think can be quite fun. Let's go into these ones on the couch. Good, and we'll do another set of those. Really trying to drive our head down, keeping our arms nice and straight, and trying to relax into them as well can be another thing. Like sometimes when I'm doing these stretches, I really notice I'm actually quite tense, and it can be useful to like try and tell yourself to chill out and to relax. You might be holding some tension, and it can be useful to sort of think about it and go like, no, just relax your jaw or relax your hands or your forearm or something, because it might be a body part that's tense that isn't related to the thing you're stretching. I find I hold a lot of tension in my jaw, so that can be an interesting one as well. Like, just relax your jaw, man. You don't need to be so tense, and that can help you get more out of these stretches. Ooh, good. We'll go for another couple. Oh, good. That one felt nice. I hope it felt good for you guys. Okay. Let's go into our Supermans. And I think I'm going to do reps of these ones. So we do arms out to the side, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's go arms out at 45 degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Arms out in front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whew. So feeling a little tough today. Oh. All right, let's have a rest, and then we'll go again. Do another set of those, and I think I'll do holds on these next ones. So we'll try and hold it for something like 7 to 10 seconds. Okay, let's go. And let's go again with that Y position. Man, I can see a real sheen off my big forehead on this. That's fun. I guess it means we're working hard. We're sweating already. All right, let's do these eye ones. Oh, right, good job, everyone. Okay, let's come back up onto our knees then. And we'll do that thread the needle one. We're taking a hand and we're stretching through. Do 1 rep. Do 2 reps. We'll do 3 reps. And then we'll change arms. Good. All right, take a little rest. Man, it is warm today. Whew. All right, we'll do 1 more set of these. Good, and now change arms. Good job. All right, let's go into our cat and our cow stuff. So we're gonna arch our back and flex it and arch it and flex it and arch it and flex it and arch it and flex it. And let's go straight into that cobra pose. Push our chest up as high as we can and then rock back and feel a stretch all in our upper back. And let's do 1 more of those. So we'll come forward, chest high, and then rock back. Really drive through our hands, drive our butt and our hips back. Really increase that stretch. Oh. We'll do 1 more of those, but we'll do it as a flow, like I was. For those of you who were with us yesterday, I was talking about how you could do these as just a complete cycle of those 4 exercises. Can be quite a nice flow. These are probably one of the of the stretches we're doing today. This one and the one we're going to do next are probably, or the next couple actually, thinking about it. These are probably the ones that I think have the most applicability to just doing throughout the day, if that makes sense. I think this is a nice one. If you've been sitting at your desk for a long time, if that's the kind of thing you do for work, then just taking a minute to do cat, cow, cobra, and then child pose can just be a really nice way to so you're flexing, you're arching, dropping into the child pose, and you can play around with it. You can do any order that works, so you can. But it can be a nice way to just shake off some of that stiffness that creeps in throughout the day. yeah, just taking like a minute between meetings or between like work projects can be a really nice way to just keep you feeling better. This next one I also like for this purpose because it hits the legs a bit more. So you could probably do both of these if you wanted to. So like a hip flexor, we're going to lean into this on this this left-hand side. We're then going to take our right elbow, try and touch our right ankle. And then we're going to take our right hand and twist. And then our left hand and twist. And then our right hand and twist. And then our left hand and twist. Ooh, nearly fell over. Fun. Right, let's switch legs. So feeling the stretch on our right hand side. Left elbow, left ankle. Left arm, right arm, left arm, right arm. There we go, we'll take a little break. Yes, again, that's that idea, like if I was, which I am actually doing this, you know, this is something I do, you can see over there, that is the corner of my desk setup. Like I try and do this sort of thing throughout the day. I try and do like 45 minutes of work and then 15 minutes of something else, like put the washing on or water the plants. And so like that getting up from your desk is super important. I think there's definitely a negative to like staying at your desk for extended periods of time. And it's not always possible. And if you work in an office, this is more difficult, but if you can find the space to do some of this stuff, like that hip flexor with the arm, if you could find the time to do that, like halfway through your day, I feel like you'd be in a good place. All right, let's go again. Enough of my waffling. And then elbow to ankle. Elbow to ankle. And one more rep. And then twist. And then twist. And then twist. And then twist. Let's switch sides. Elbow to ankle. Elbow to ankle. And again. And then twist. Okay, let's go into those deep squats. So again, we were talking about this yesterday of holding on to something like a couch or a chair or some sort of like vertical upright, like a pole or whatever you've got access to. And then a pole is in like I guess like a broomstick or something, or a dowel. I didn't necessarily mean a stripper pole, but hey, maybe you've got access to a stripper pole. Rock on if you do. We're just going to sit in this deep squat and hold it. You can also, like, when you feel more comfortable, you can start to drive your elbows out. That can be a nice one on your hips. I start to feel that, like, really at the bottom of my hips and feels nice. And then what we're going to do is hands on the floor, and we're going to come up, start to stretch out the back of our legs. Just as much as we can. That might not be very much. You know, you can see I've got a big bend in my leg because my hamstrings are quite tight, but that's just the way they are. And that's fine. We're all coming to this with different restrictions, limitations, etc. So we're going to sit here again. And you can take breaks here. You know, if you need to sit down or like stand up and shake out your legs, that's totally fine. Like that's all part of it. I'm going to go again if we can. Stretch these out. Ooh. So I'll come this way and you can see I think I've said this a few times now, but just to reiterate, like I always start with my feet like way more out. And then my goal, like over time, is to try and bring them in. And it's sometimes possible, sometimes it's less possible. But I find if I have my feet like that and I'm driving my elbows into my legs, I get a really nice stretch. So that's something to kind of work towards. I also then find when I come up and do this, I'm able to get more of a stretch on my hamstrings because my feet are facing forward. Whew. All right, that was good. Let's go into the that split progression. So I'll do it this way actually, because again, I think having something to hold on to can be helpful for these. So spreading our feet. If you've got a sofa or a chair or something, use it. If you can just go on the floor, use that. So let our feet drift. I like to keep my toes pointing forwards, but it's up to you. And we're just going to sit here and hold this for a little while. You might find, like my feet are starting to slip. It's nothing crazy, but they're just sort of gradually releasing, which is nice. Like they're going further and further, meaning that my groin is like stretching more and more, which is nice. We'll hold that for a couple more seconds. And then we'll come down. You can also do these this way if we want. This feels better. With all of these, like sub these out for something that feels better. If doing them the way I'm doing them doesn't feel good, play around. I'm not a big fan of like having super strict technique on all of this stuff. I think you know your body better than anyone else does, especially better than some influencer on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Does Facebook even have influencers? I don't know. I'm not on Facebook very much, so I don't know. But yeah, I don't think there's one technique for any of this stuff. It's all about like what are you working with and what feels good. So play around with it. So we can do these sorts of stretches to hit these, or we can do this kind of butterfly one as well, quite like this. I don't do this very often, so it's nice to kind of sometimes change that in. I like that split one, but this can be nice as well. This is sometimes a bit of an easier entry. You could start with these and then progress to some of the other stuff. That's totally fine. All right, how are we doing time-wise? Slightly over, apologies. But we'll do the last one now, which is our ankles. So we're in that kind of split stance, not split stance, that like hip flexor stance that we were in before, but we've got our ankle much closer to our knee, and we're going to just let our knee go over our toe as far as we can, keeping our heel on the ground if we can, and just pulsing. We'll do 5 of those on each leg. Good, and we'll change. Apologies, team. I've run over by almost 5 minutes because I was chatting too much today. But hey, I guess I just had to get it out there. Lots of chat. Hope that's not a problem. All right, last one. There we go. That's us done. Have a wonderful day. See you soon.